Magical Land of Yeld, First Edition, by Nick Smith and Jake Richmond, is a fantasy ttrpg about being kids having an adventure in a fantasy world and absolutely not having any sort of trauma in return. Kids are good with dealing that sort of thing. Welcome to Earth, it's your home, probably, unless you are some Martians or whoever in outer space that's watching this for your assignment on human culture. One day, you and a couple kids plus a dog discover a door to another world, a land called Yeld. It's a fantastical and sometimes, most of the time, a dangerous place. You and your friends will have many adventures here, moving between your home and Yeld while making sure the stinky adults don't know a thing about this place. Until one day, the door is locked. Your mentor told you of the 7 keys, each held by the vampire prince's fiercest servants, who no doubt will give you the greatest challenge. To face them on equal footing, you will become heroes, but you will need to move fast, because if you reach 13 while in the Land of Yeld, you will become monster, and never to return home. So you know, no pressure. To play the magical Land of Yeld, you want a whole bunch of d6, core dice represent the base stats of your character: strong, tough, smart, and brave. Equipment like weapon and armor add on top of that for certain situations like attacking or defending. Sometimes, or on some equipment, you also get special dices. These are indeed special dices to do special things with. You decide what core dice to roll them with to determine your approach. And speaking of rolling, for any challenge, it's always a contested one. You and your GM or another friend, if you are fighting each other, roll your pool of dice and whoever's total result is higher simply win. That's essentially it for the dice mechanic of Milo. That's how I'm shortening it now, it's Milo now. Anyway, let's make a friend, which is what the player character will be called. First, determine your age. The older you are, the more you are specialized in certain things, while the younger you are, the easier it is for you to return to the mortal coil because you haven't fully grasped the idea of mortality yet. Family friendly game right here. You also get 1 core dice and 1 special dice depending on what kind of friend you are: big sister, rival, princess, bully, know-it-all, baby, brat, dog, and liar, some of which even has special requirement. Then you have 5 more core dice to spread around and that's your starting friend done. You are probably wondering, where's my class? That will come later. Just think of it as getting an Everest. For now, even as just perfectly normal kid, you can handle most things in your way with the power of love. Fight will be done on a 8x8 grid action board, and it's a turn-based combat with an interesting choice of mechanic. A fight begins whether the friends or monsters want to take action, and whoever starts it gets the first turn. Then, after the first friend or monster finished the turn, they can pick a friend or monster who hasn't gone yet. Yes, this means exactly what you think. There's no way the monster team will pick you to go next, so it's gonna be a complete monster train unless you can interrupt them by making a brave roll against the next character. If you succeed, you take the turn, but remember, the monster can do that too. Brave isn't just for that either. On your turn, it's split into move and action. You move depending on your brave, and action is basically anything else, from attacking to using an item or casting a spell and special dice stuff. Having 1 of the core dice as brave is an interesting choice of word. Strong, tough, smart, these are common stats you expect in an RPG, but brave specifically as a stat to move and take initiative really reminds you that you are playing as children who are thrusted into a not-so-friendly world. This is also important for not just interrupting your opponent, but also to perform attack chain. If friend after friend kept being able to take their turn, they gain an increasing amount of dice to roll with. This makes succeeding easy, but it doesn't mean the result gets bigger, and also, monster can do this too. So beware. Since health point isn't a thing, when you successfully attack a monster, you reduce their tough dice by 1, not the armor dice, the base tough dice. A monster is defeated when they loses all of their tough dice, and since losing tough dice means you take hit more easily, armor is going to be rather important. Also, you straight up just die if you lose all your tough dice, but that's only a minor inconvenience here in Yeld. When you die, you become ghost. You can't do a lot of things, but you have access to ghost action, like haunting people, being really chilly, spooking people, which is somehow different than haunting, cheer your ally on, loot the ground clean, or have ghost fight with other ghosts, and you can return to the living by any means that increase your tough dice back, or just revisiting an inn. If everyone in the party dies, you all just respawn back in an inn. Death is not an escape you can utilize in Yeld. When the magic door closed and the friends are trapped in Yeld, only then can you pick from 8 heroic jobs. You can most likely just do this from the get-go, but Yeld really pay a homage to old MMORPG where you have to test the water as beginner before advancing in classes. These classes includes Black Mage, Freelancer, Oathbreaker, Shepherd, Soul Thief, White Mage, Witch, and Witch Hunter. Why is this a class? Each class immediately provides an increase of core dice, special dice, kit, weapon requirement, a role-playing reminder, and a job ability that defines the job. Black Mage can of course cast black magic, Oathbreaker can make an oath with powerful benefit and drawback, and the Shepherd has an army of sheeps. It's better than it sounds, trust me. You will also see this purchasable special dice list. Well, we will talk about this later. Another way to advance your character is of course, getting better equipments, through the power of looting or practicing capitalism. Weapon, armor, clothing, gear, even food that can provide temporary buff can be obtained to help you in your roles. These are obtained through rolling reward dices from defeating monsters or completing quest, and sometimes you also just get currency. Another interesting thing about Milo, you don't really count your coin. You have 4 stages of wealth: none, some, lots, and tons. This encourages the players to use them often, as you can't increase your money above tons. Just like a kid who wants all the shiny things, I really should have invested more into Bionicle back then. As you defeat more and more of the hunter, the servant of the vampire prince, you get to obtain higher rank gear. These don't just give you higher dice number, but also special dices that you might not be able to obtain with your job. Some exotic items you can only purchase with different currencies from exotic merchants can provide extraordinary power this way. You might even get your hand on legendary weapons with very powerful capability too. And speaking of special dice, about the list, you can purchase them with reward dice too, up to 3 for specific dice. That's how you further define your friend. So keep that in mind when you get some of those reward dices. In fact, keeping the reward dice unrolled is often a good idea, as you can get better things to spend them on later. Like say, starting a mastery quest or unlocking advanced job. Mastery quest is for mastering your own job, giving you more special capability at the cost of permanently locking to the job. This requires a reward dice plus 2 good or evil dice to start. Good or evil dice essentially represent the great deeds the friends have performed in the Land of Yeld. You get good dice from like everything really, while evil dice ironically takes some steps to obtain. These dices can be used to increase the result of a roll, or can be used to determine what you get upon mastering a job. Meanwhile, unlocking advanced job only needs a single reward dice, and a great quest to unlock it. This is a full-on adventure, and after completion, anyone can now switch to this new job, and, if you take too long, or simply just too old, anyone that reached the age of 13 will be forced to take on the monster job, and depending on their good and or evil dice, it might affect what they will become. If any friend in your party becomes like this, even after getting 7 keys, they can't get back home. Only by defeating the vampire prince will you be able to clear not just your monster friends, but also any other kids that are stuck in this place. It will be a hard fight, but if you want everyone to return home, that's what it will take. And that's basically it on Magical Land of Yeld, a totally family-friendly fantasy tabletop RPG for all ages. It's just like Ghibli, as long as you remember that it isn't solely consisted of cozy vibe. I figure I should, talk about something that can be played by players of all ages instead of some very niche stuff again. I would say Milo is one. Its mechanic is simple to get yet has a depth to it. Even generating encounter for whoever got the GM role for the week is quick and easy. The story being essentially written for you is a key important thing here. Your party already know how the plot will go, but not the adventure in between. Simple yet fun for the players to figure out where to go after the previous session, and you will always know how close you are to the finishing line. Anyway, you can get it now on itch.io. It's free, and if you feel it's pretty good, you can also get the second edition, which did have some improvements made, along with a bunch of other stuffs not just on itch.io but also Yeldstuff main website. Yes, that's what it's called. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.